Hey, hi, my name's Alita Spire, and I'm a National Marketing Director in the Maricopa County in Arizona. And tonight we have an amazing Tim and Troy show, fondly called. We are going to have these little Zoom calls each quarter so that we address each of our seasons. And we have been so blessed to be able to not only have Tim and Troy, Tim Blank and Troy, and I will introduce them after I introduce, but also our regional sales director, our regional director who really kind of like is just locks arms with all of us reps on the call tonight also. We also want to welcome any new people, any people that might be looking at the tower. I know you're going to be really beautifully, wonderfully surprised when you see when Troy does his segment here and see the beautiful towers that he has that you might want to take a visit to. And I know that they are supporting all the reps in the area, and I know that you're going to want to run out and get a tower as soon as you get off this call and call the person who invited you today. For all of the reps on this call, I wanted to let you know that these fine gentlemen are supporting us in every way possible. We have amazing support with them and amazing well, I'm going to let them share it all to you. So right now I'd like to introduce our regional director right now, and his name is Stephen Shapiro. Stephen, take it away.
Thank you, Alita, and so glad to be here. I come to you from Dallas, where it's about 9 o'clock. And so just wanted to thank everybody for taking time out of your day and your evening to come on for about a half hour and share this time with us and share that time with Tim and Troy. We are truly blessed to be able to have them 4 times this year speaking to the group out of Arizona, because it is a unique climate in Arizona and there are challenges, but there are also great rewards with having a tower garden. I've learned so much. If you haven't been out to see Troy at True Garden, please do so. It's an amazing place. It really is. And the things that they're doing and able to do and able to teach you how to do will make you feel really good about the investment you make, but also feel really good about being with Juice Plus. So I'm excited to be here, excited to listen to Tim and Troy, and can't wait for the next 3 as well. So Alita, back to you.
Thank you so much. I want to introduce these 2 gentlemen in a row. I also want to let you know that let's see here, that our company just launched after 19 years of having really an innovative company that has brought products to families. After 19 years of having several products, so they launched this amazing product, 6 years ago. And so we are really blessed to have the technology development director of our tower garden on the phone with us. His name is Tim Blank. He graduated in 1992 with a horticulture science and greenhouse management. Tim began his career at the Walt Disney Company's The Land, and he did early years conducting cutting-edge research with scientists from NASA, USDA, and DOE, and Disney. So he was promoted as the chief horticulture and greenhouse manager of The Land, and maybe some of you have seen that. The Juice Plus company acquired Future Growing in 2016 with a vision to spread tower garden technology all over the world. So Tim now serves as the Chief Technology Officer for the Tower Garden Division. He spends the majority of his time speaking publicly, and the way this format's going to go is Tim's going to share a little bit about our weather at this time, which has been exceptionally warm, actually. And then he speaks publicly, internationally, all over on the future of farming and developing the next generation of products at the Tower Garden Lab. So he also owns Future Growing. Troy is a gift to us also. Troy is a pharmacist who founded RX Formulation, focusing on natural bioidentical hormones for men and women, as well as all sorts of other things, even pet compounding. His name and his wife, Lisa, founded True Garden in Mesa, Arizona. Arizona-based True Garden is the premier vertical aeroponic food farm in the Southwest, the first of its kind facility. And it's operated by solar power, designed in partnership with Future Growing, with a vision to drastically reduce the region's agricultural water consumption while making local and living produce available year-round in the hot desert regions of Phoenix and the Southwest. Tim and the Tower True Garden offer seedlings and classes, and Tim will also share a little bit about what they're doing down there to best support our Juice Plus reps and our awesome guests that are on the call tonight. So with that, I'm going to introduce Tim first. And so, Tim, you take it away.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Alita, thanks for having me. So glad to be back in Phoenix virtually. We've been there twice this year, and we're going to be there this April for our national conference. So excited about the movement and the momentum that's going on in Phoenix. It's incredible. So tonight, what I'm really going to do is share my top 10 tips for the first 3 months of 2018. So Phoenix kind of has 4 growing seasons, you know, the spring, summer, winter, fall. So we're in the winter. So I want to start off with my first 3 tips, and those would kind of encompass why Tower Garden, okay? Because some of you here are thinking about a Tower Garden, or some of you have just got a Tower Garden maybe last fall and you've been through the holidays, right? And I think for all of us, our heads are scrambled. I just got back from a big family event, and I'm just kind of like, gosh, look at all the stuff I got to do. I want to get back into my physical fitness and things like that. So the first, why Tower Garden? The first and most important thing I can think about is taking control of your food supply. I just heard a big story over the holidays, that big E. coli outbreak on lettuce. I mean, people die from this stuff. Children are on life support for years from, E. coli poisoning. We've gone through quite a few food contaminations this year. So to me, that's just a huge plus of taking control of your food supply and growing in a Tower Garden. I mean, we're doing this just on a 30-inch footprint vertically, right? The second point to that, taking control of your food supply, is, the USDA says that by the time, from field to table, by the time that, when we harvest that produce, put it on a truck, chill it, and it goes through its whole transportation process, any fresh cut leafy green, or like, spinach, chard, celery, all the wide range of herbs, the things that, those of us healthy eat a lot of, the USDA says those plants can lose up to 50% of their nutrition from field to table. We were just in Costco over the holiday buying some bulk food. We had, I think, 30-some people for this family event away from my house, and I didn't have the Tower Gardens there. And I couldn't believe it. The majority of the produce was up to 4 weeks old, inside that Costco cooler. This was organic produce from what we supposedly should be a fresh vendor. So, just being able to take control of our food supply, first most important tip. Second, why Tower Garden? Well, for those of you in Phoenix, Tucson, and the desert Southwest, wintertime, these next 3 months, it is a vegetable growing, temperate season paradise. The bugs are low, the sun isn't too strong, just the best time of year for growing vegetables. The third tip, this is the time of year to take healthy back, okay? The holidays are gone, and whether it's yourself or the people in your business or the people you're bringing into your business, there's no other time of year where people have these resolutions. They want to start exercising again. They want to start eating healthy. And what I really love about our Tower Garden Juice Plus family is that, we live by example. We walk the talk, right? So just it's so perfect for you guys that it's your most perfect growing season. And this is the time of year people want to re-engage in health and wellness. I think about this at my home. My towers smell good, they look good, they taste good. So they naturally inspire and they naturally sell themselves. So I always say start off at home with a beautiful tower, and everything just really flourishes from there. So again, my top 3 tips of why Tower Garden. Number 1, take control of our food supply. Number 2, Phoenix is a vegetable growing paradise. And number 3, this is the time of year to take healthy back. Now, my second set of 3 tips would be for growing outdoors in the winter season in the desert Southwest. So for those of you in Phoenix and Tucson and Palm Desert, Inland California, all those areas, these tips are specifically for you. Now, this time of year, I'm always asked, I know Troy over True Garden and Lita, what can I grow in my tower garden? You can pretty much grow anything at this time of year, as I mentioned, other than basil. Once the nights drop below 55 degrees, basil really crawls along and looks kind of funky. I think there's a nutritional disorder. It's just a heat-loving crop. So you're going to have a tough time with basil right now, although like Alita said, you've had a very hot winter or warm winter. So for some of you, it might be doing okay. Now, my second tip here under this category would be the sun is very low in the sky at this time of year. And right now, we're at our shortest days of the year. So for maximum growth, you want to put your tower garden in a southern exposure that's unobstructed. You know, sun comes up in the east, goes down in the west, and it's south facing in the sky. So I have people that tell me, hey, I've only got a westerly deck. I've only got an easterly deck. It's the only place I can put my tower. And it'll do fine. It just won't grow as fast. It'll tend to be a little bit more leggy and not so thick. So the bang for the buck, and I'm a professional grower by degree, and it's how I practice my home tower gardens as well as when I worked in commercial greenhouses. So I'm always going to give you tips that are going to really help maximize every penny from that 30-inch footprint on the floor, right? So, but if you only have again an east deck or a west deck, no problem at all. The third tip for this time of year is, while the weather is perfect, and I'm over in Orlando right now, and I'm in the same scenario. We've actually been freezing all week, believe it or not. That cold front has dipped down, and you do have to be concerned about frost or freezes. So I think it's great to have that weather app or something on your iPhone, and just kind of keep an eye each week of what the weather looks like. If you're going to frost or freeze, we've got 3 simple solutions, right? 1, you can roll your tower garden indoors if it's out in your deck. 2, you can put a sheet over your tower if it's just going to be a light frost. If you're going through, I think it was a couple years ago, Troy said that several nights of heavy freezes there over in Mesa. And so over True Garden, Troy will tell you a little bit more about that later. They sell some plastic submersible heaters that they use in the aquarium industry. These are 200-watt heaters. They stick them inside that nutrient reservoir, and they switch the tower garden from timer to run, and they just let that tower garden recirculate 70-degree water all night. And it's kind of, the tower garden creates a microclimate for itself, and you wouldn't even know that it was freezing or frosting. And by the way, this is what they were doing at the Bell Book and Candle this year. Up until I think early December, they used the same type of technology on the rooftop with these submersible heaters. So there are ways to navigate the frost or freezes, and those 3 ways I just mentioned. All right, those are my tips for this winter growing. Now my third set of tips would be tips for succeeding with the tower garden. And the first one I want to start off with is really important. If those of you that were at their fall conference in Indianapolis, you remember me talking to you about this. It's so important to have a tower garden with a purpose or a mission. And what do I mean by that? Well, a lot of times we get really excited as a new tower gardener or a beginning tower gardener or even a beginning gardener. A beginning gardener will go to Home Depot and go, that looks good, that looks good, that looks good. Just give me one of everything. And then you have this cornucopia of plants, but some grow really slow, some don't do that well, and maybe 1/3 of them you really consume a lot of. So it's important to be thoughtful. And so what I've found that's very helpful to people is thinking about a tower garden with a purpose or a mission. So we got some categories under that. There's a lot of people that are into weight loss and, eating greens. So having like a salad type tower, that's super simple, right? So a salad tower. The next one would be a juicing or a smoothie tower. I know there's a whole bunch of you out there on the Shred 10 program too, right? So this just ties in perfectly. So my top 3 juicing plants would be parsley, the Bright Lights chard, and the kale. They sell all those over True Garden. I mean, those are literally are the gift that keeps on giving and giving and giving. I've seen some of Alita's towers where the chard, we have pictures where it's like one leaf is bigger than both of our heads. I mean, and you can just cut it back and it grows back on the tower. It's the weed that just doesn't stop in the tower garden. So those would be the top 3 juicing plants. And then a cooking tower. Things that you put in your cooking, your basil, your cilantro, your chives, your onions, all those do really well in the tower. So you want to choose plants that grow easy and that also tie into your tower garden, with a purpose. So that would be my first key point, having a tower garden with a purpose or a mission. The second one, if you don't have a good location outdoors, there are people in Phoenix, even though it's a vegetable growing paradise, you live in an apartment, you live in a really small lot line where you just don't have sun because you have taller homes around you. Grow indoors. These new LED lights we came out with, they are killing it. We've had tremendous luck with them. I'm going to be telling you about where you can tap into some of those videos later. I recommend, whether you're using the T5 or the LEDs, if you're growing indoors, run your lights for 18 hours if you can, if it's not going to bother your sleep habits or whatever. You can run your lights. The company recommends 14, and I see a lot of debate online, should I, 14, 12, 16, 18. For me, again, I go back to simple horticultural practices. Grow lights are not going to be as strong as full sun ever, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get the most amount of sun, because the way these food crops work is they store sunlight energy during the day and then they grow at night. So the more sun they get, the more they're going to grow. So that would be, again, growing indoors is a great solution. And it's simple because you just kind of keep that same continuity year round. Now, the third tip for succeeding with tower garden would be to, whether you're indoor growing or outdoor growing, like most of you are in Phoenix right now, you really need to scout to maintain for pests. Pay attention to what's going on with your tower. So what I mean by scouting, I mean, talk to your tower, visit your tower every day. When you're harvesting it from it, look all around at the plants on your tower. The interesting thing about insect pests is they don't jump out and wave at you and say hi. They don't do that till the plant is completely devoured. And I can't tell you the number of times I've had people that really don't even know what it means to scout or to check their plants out. And then they get to me, by the time there's, 30,000 aphids on their tower. And at that point, it's kind of probably time to start over. So the seedlings you get from True Garden, you guys are so blessed. I mean, True Garden has phenomenal bug-free seedlings. We've used them over at Juice Plus for our last 3 research runs and haven't had a bug in our towers. All my 60-second videos, those seedlings have come from Troy's towers, and they do so well. But I do scout because, if you let your dog run out on your patio, I promise you're going to have aphids on your patio in Phoenix. They're going to be on weeds. They're going to be on roses. When you let your pets run outdoors, they're going to pick up aphids on their fur. You're going to pick up bugs when you go out and work. So there are ways that bugs can still even get indoors. So it's important to look at our plants, look at the new growth, look under the leaves. And I have 3 sprays that I recommend. And Alita is actually going to be posting this. She'll talk about it again in just a minute when Troy and I are done. So all these recipes and how to spray them are going to be readily available on your regional website there. But I use soap and neem oil for aphids and a lot of other insects, but specifically for aphids. And on the instructions, it'll tell you to spray, maybe twice a week maximum. There's people that were on a Master Gardener channel and they told them to spray every day, and then they get back to me and their plants are all burned. You can't put soap. You can't, if you put soap on your skin every day, your skin's going to be irritated unless you rinse it. So plants are kind of the same way, right? Thuricide is a great one outdoors. Butterflies or moths, they will lay an egg on the leaf, and then that egg will develop into a worm. And so anytime you see a hole in your leaves, most likely that's a worm laid by a moth or caterpillar. So Thuricide is a bacterium that, again, just you spray it on the plant, totally harmless to people, takes care of those guys in a day. Pyrethrum is really great for thrips or just any other kind of big bug or beetle that you have in your tower. On the next talk, we're moving into springtime, so I will be talking about thrips because that'll be your #1 pest, and I'll show you pictures of how to identify that. But you know, for the most part, you guys are living in heaven right now. Your nights are cold, the bugs aren't reproducing fast, so I don't want you to sweat it, but I do want you to scout, pay attention. And these simple organic sprays and the recipe that's Alita is going to post, it's where to buy them, how to mix them, very, very straightforward stuff. So again, my 3 tips for succeeding with a tower garden would be: 1, have a tower with a purpose or a mission. 2, have a good location outdoors, southern, unobstructed exposure, if you can, or growing indoors if you don't have a good place outside. And the third one would be, you know, scout to maintain pests, whether you're indoors or outdoors. Now, finally, number 10 tip, my final tip of the night would be stay connected. And what do I mean by that? Well, invest in Facebook stock as soon as you can. Just kidding. Although it's doing pretty good right now. No, but all joking aside, follow your social media channels. Pay attention to what's going on. There's a lot of information out there. So the 3 channels I'd like you to pay attention to for Phoenix would be towergarden.com, your home to all your Tower Garden social media channels and your YouTube channels. There's so many things that, you know, between the YouTube videos and the Facebook videos and the little there's just so much available to you now on how to work with tower gardens at schools in your backyard. Just a ton of stuff at towergarden.com. If you haven't been there in a while, check it out. We're adding stuff every quarter. If you know, the second one would be the Tower Tim, which you can find at if you just go to Facebook. It's the only social media channel that I'm on weekly. If you go there and just to Facebook and type in Tim Blank Tower Garden, it'll bring you to Tim Blank LLC, which is my Tower Garden persona online. And I would say if you go down through the timeline, you can watch 60 seconds with Tower Tim videos, and you just kind of scroll down through the timeline, and you'll see stuff for scouting, for how to harvest produce, how to grow indoors with LEDs, how to use water to wash bugs off your website wash bugs off your tower garden with water. Super simple techniques are on those 60-second videos. Now, I've done something special for you guys in Phoenix and Tucson tonight. At the top of my Facebook, Tower Garden Tim Blank, I've posted to the top of the page a 1-hour class I did in Indianapolis. So this just kind of this. Some of you have questions tonight, and I will bet you your question will be answered in this video, because we just covered A to Z in this 1-hour talk in Indianapolis. Everything from pH to grouping your crops to how many towers you should be growing, all that kind of stuff. You can find in that talk. And now that video was done by just a random tower gardener out there with his iPhone in his hand. And he started off the video like this, and then he turned his iPhone. So it's kind of funky, but if you start out the video on your iPhone and just lock the aspect ratio, then you can turn it and watch it in widescreen. So it might take a minute to figure that out, but there's just several dozen tips there. Lita was at my class and just had a good time, was sharing a lot of tips with her team. So I would say that would be one of the most powerful things I can leave you with tonight. If for those of you that still have a ton of questions, I have a ton of answers in that 1-hour video. And again, it's pinned to the top of Tim Blank Tower Garden or Tim Blank LLC Facebook. Both things get you to the same location. Now, staying connected, I want to leave you with this. You guys are so gosh darn blessed in Phoenix because you have True Garden, one of our top commercial tower farm institutions in the United States. They sell to restaurants and stores and farmers markets and CSAs all over the southern Arizona region. They grow seedlings. I think they got more varieties almost than anybody out there. They ship all over the country. They've got your organic sprays that Alita's going to post in those recipes. They got the winter protection kits. So you guys just have this tremendous resource. If you haven't visited them, True Garden, they're over in Mesa at University of Wrecker. just a great local resource for you folks over in Arizona, even in inland California. It's only I think a 3-hour drive to get over to Troy's. Use 20 minutes from the Phoenix airport. So very, very easy location to get to, because I know there's a lot of people on this call from all over the United States as well. So great resource there. And I think from there, thank you, Alita and Steve, for having me on tonight. I hope this was helpful. And I'm going to turn it over to Troy Albright with True Garden.
Thank you so much, Tim. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
I was just thinking to myself, what a gift this would be if you sold a Tower Garden this month to give them this video, right? How cool would that be? So go ahead, Troy, it's your turn.
All right. Well, thanks, Alita and Steve, for having us on this 4 times this year. It's going to be exciting. I sort of just want to inspire. Let me turn this around so people can get a quick look at just inside the greenhouse. Here's some of our bib lettuce. Beautiful bib lettuce. We got lots of lettuce. We sell a lot of that to our restaurants. Cilantro. Beautiful cilantro. Some holy basil that's starting. Takes longer to grow. Again, it's cooler. As Tim said, that your basil doesn't like to be, in a cool climate. It's about 73 degrees in here right now, so it's really nice. Perfect growing inside the greenhouse. There's some mirror lettuce. That's 4 weeks old, and it's going to be harvested this week here. There's some romaine lettuce, some beautiful Swiss chard there, the bright lights, one of your highest antioxidants. Some elegance green mix down here with some bok choy and mustard in it. Again, some beautiful 5-star lettuce gourmet mix. I mean, it just goes on and on. You don't have to have a greenhouse to do this. Over 70% of the earth is desert, and so what Tim built here, this greenhouse, it's an oasis here in the desert. So you can do this too without a greenhouse, easily 6 to 9 months out of the year. And that's what I really wanted to bring to the table, is make sure those of you in the Southwest here realize we're here to support you. We've asked a lot of the reps, what do you want from us? And they're talking about, having seedlings, good quality seedlings. And again, we've had Tim out multiple times to train us and to raise up beautiful seedlings. At any given time, we'll have over 5,000 seedlings ready to ship nationwide. And again, our goal, we're blessed to be in such a dry climate, so we don't have the same kind of bugs that Florida or the East Coast has because of the humidity. So we're very blessed to have, a climate that's really perfect for what we're doing when it comes to the aeroponic towers here. But you can just see all these propagation tables with seedlings that are ready to be shipped right now. Tomatoes, we're waiting to bring out tomatoes, beautiful tomatoes ready to go. Again, all the different varieties of lettuces and kales. We have close to 100 different seedling starts for you to put right into your tower. And typically we can get these seedlings to any place in the U.S. within 3 days. So my goal is to be a support for your team and all the teams here in the Southwest, Lita, and offer classes, offer different things that, the Juice Plus Tower Garden people are going to need all the Tower Garden supplies, because I know Juice Plus isn't going to carry those things. So we want to be that resource, that go-to. So as you sell towers, you can send those new customers, tower customers, to a class. We'll empower them and send them back to you to actually continue working with them. So after they get comfortable with one tower, they buy another 2 or 3 towers. And we see that happening because people do want to know where their food's coming from. And I get so excited about this, as a compounding pharmacist. What's the biggest thing affecting our health? It's the foods that we're eating. And that's why my wife and I built a greenhouse. You don't have to have a greenhouse to do this. But we wanted to bring it to the public, the community here, and be part of it. And that's my commitment to you as well, Lita, is being part of this, the overall picture of what we're doing for the community on a whole.
That's awesome, Troy. Can you rattle off some of your seedlings that you have available now that are the best ones to plant?
Oh gosh, yes. All your kales. So we have 4 or 5 different varieties of kales, Swiss chard. All your varieties of lettuce. We've got elegance greens. We have the mirror. We have the butter. You know, we've got lots of things here to pick from. We're getting ready to start planting all your fruiting crops. Your tomatoes are going to be something that you're going to start planting here. Zucchini, squash, we have lots of those different things. Eggplant. I mean, these things will start, you're going to want to start planting these things. Again, we have close to 90 different varieties. Spinach is a perfect one to be growing right now. It loves the cold. It takes a long time to grow spinach. I mean, it's weird. This doesn't really look like anything when it's small like this, but as it gets bigger, you know, it turns into something that you actually recognize. So again, celery is another one, a cool season crop, but all the kales will love it. You got flat leaf parsley and curly leaf parsley and dill, and gosh, there's Tim's grandmother's Granny Blank's mint here. It's a 65-year-old variety of mint. It's just great. We've got bean sprouts and things like that coming too. It's just an exciting time to be planting. We've got some of the different herbs here as well, oregano and tarragon, thyme. I mean, it's just a whole variety. I mean, we're fortunate to have such a dry climate compared to the East Coast. We can pretty much grow any of these things year-round, and that's what's nice here in the desert, that we can grow these things year-round. And again, whatever we can do to support what you're doing, that's our goal.
And so, Troy, you're going to be at the regional with seedlings. So if people want to order seedlings, they can go on to True Garden and order them, and they can pick them up, or you can deliver them to our regional in January, right? You need to probably go ahead and unmute yourself, Roy.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes, you can pre-order those. That way you'll be guaranteed what you're getting. Plus, we'll have some there as well at the Stephen Ritz meeting here.
Awesome. Very, very cool. I want to thank you, Troy, for all of that. And you do cover, you have all the pesticides and things like that for sale also, right?
That's correct. Yeah, we're carrying all the botanicals that Tim originally had developed for the towers. So yes, they're all botanicals. All of them are OMRI approved. So it's exciting to use things that aren't going to hurt you. You know, as my parents were farmers, we talked about all the chemicals we used, and you know, even DDT. And I asked my dad about it. And he goes, "Well, the government said it was safe. Those chemicals are not safe. I'm telling you, as a pharmacist, DDT, Roundup, those are not things that we want to be using on our towers. Stick to the neem oil, the pyrethrin, you know, the soap and water. These things are safe for us to be consuming, spraying on our plants." And I really appreciate Tim putting that sheet out, how to use those things. So as you have questions, you know, let us be that resource for you. And that's what we plan on doing. Again, we're offering not only a novice class now, we're offering an advanced farming class. And then those that are even interested in commercial farming, Alita, we have those classes available too. So as you have people interested in starting up their own farm, we now offer those classes as well.
That's very cool. I heard that holy basil was excellent for hormones.
It is. It actually knocks down cortisol. And who's not stressed, right?
Well, I want to thank you so much, Troy, for all you're doing and all you're doing to help support all the reps in the Maricopa County and in Arizona at large. So I want to thank you all for joining us today. Steve, thank you so much for the use of your line, everything you guys have done to just make it so available for us to really use something that we can all be very proud of and, you know, have it for ourselves. So I want to try to see if I can unmute you all. Let's see here. Unmute. Say goodbye and thank you to Tim and Troy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
thank you all.
So much.
Yeah.
Bye from Hawaii.
Oh, hi, Wendy.
Sure.
Say bye.
Love you guys.
It's 5275, correct?
Hey, Paul.
No. Is that how much it was due, or because she has 5275?
Thank you. Bye.
I know. But